That little yellow Bedford CF was not far off its next MOT. The engine had more wheezing than compression, and I was going to get caught out without a viable means of earning a living if I didn't replace it a bit smart. A rush purchase, when in this type of situation, usually proves to be erroneous. Wesley had died. My father imparting this information while sticking his head round the shed door one morning in March 1999. From my prone position under the front of a dead Mark II Ford Transit, I considered this. His wife's having a dispersal auction next month, father continued. Now I was properly interested. Wesley had been a tractor enthusiast and collector. We came to know him after he answered an ad we placed offering Dolly Air International 275 for sale in the local paper. He came, did the usual chin stroking and cheek puffing before buying her and returning a few hours later with a recovery truck, the ownership of which had me now interested in his wife's auction. An Iveco 5510 with 20-foot beaver tail, pull-out ramps, Ramsey electric winch on a 1979 V-plate. Wesley, being a fastidious man with his tractor restorations, I knew he would have kept the lorry serviced and up together. The date of the auction marked clearly on the yard's office calendar. Why was the International 275 called Dolly? Well, the tractor had two huge headlights bolted to the top of its bonnet, so my father named it Dolly, after Dolly Parton, because, well, he enjoyed her singing. The day of the auction dawned with something of an out-of-season frost. Heading off to the sale field, which for reasons best known to Lord knows who, was being held in what appeared to be a recently ploughed field. The usual agricultural dross was present, and then there were the items in the sale. Typically, the lorry was going to be towards the end of the morning's proceedings. I tried to show as little interest in it as possible and stood chatting with my neighbour whilst he devoured a rancid smelling hot dog from the on site salmonellosis van. When the Iveco came up, I caught the auctioneer's eye with a gentle head nod at the start. To my surprise, no one else came in. For £200, this was going to be a gift. I was willing the bastard to knock it down to me. The deal was in the bag until at the very last offering he uttered the words, "For £200, maiden bid then to Scrappy Matt. I can't quite believe this, ladies and gentlemen." And with the mention of my name, various locals turned to stare at me, and then one grinning muffer, who was a big mate of Pete's, started to bid. I knew he was running me up. He knew I knew. But he also knew that I needed that lorry and was going to not back off. In the end, I had to pay £875 plus premium to secure the bloody thing. Total scumbaggery. The sun had made an unlikely appearance, which was good for the fingers and feet, but bad news for extracting a lorry from a rapidly thawing mud pie. Paperwork done and up in the cab, I noted the truck had nearly a full tank of derv on the gorge. It fired up okay, and with my neighbour on board, I attempted to charge up the field. No bloody chance. 20 yards and she was done for. Eventually, with a bit of pleading, a geezer with a four-wheel drive Ford tractor dragged us clear of the Somme-like mud. Loading my neighbour's Fiat Panda on the back and with father following in his Mark II Astra van, we headed off back to my yard. 5 miles into the journey, climbing a small hill, the Iveco's engine started to cough and miss. By the time we crested the rise, she had cut out. Coasting down the other side, I pulled into a side road. The fuel gauge still reading full, we peered inside the tank. Empty. Dad was dispatched to retrieve a can of fuel from the yard, and upon his returning, we bled the engine through, and it started up first time. Overall, the lorry drove okay. No power steering, of course, and the non-air brakes were, well, to be honest, a bit pish. But the four-cylinder engine pulled really well. The long overhang of the beaver tail body made it easy to get bellied on steep drives and incredibly tight to manoeuvre into people's properties. I always had to ask on the phone before I ventured out if their entrance could accommodate a 30-foot long lorry. Having been bent at some time in the past, the loading ramps were a pig to push in and out of their stowaway slots under the body, leaving you puffing and panting at the end of the day. Nevertheless, Iveco 5510 service was utilised in earnest over the coming years. With the addition of a huge Sarah Michelle Gellar poster in the rear of the cab, I drove thousands of miles in that old lorry. Hello there, thank you for watching my video. If you'd like to see a few more, please subscribe, like and share. It is appreciated, it does mean a lot. All the best to you, take care.